Guys, there is so much that goes into running an empire like this. There's so much that goes into it.
Like what's that?
Yeah, thanks, John. Jesus Christ. I got 5 people on the panel talking to myself. So John sent me this upload, and I put it up. Everything went, fine as normal. You upload it to one place that's your host, and then it kind of shoots to all the different podcast platforms. For us, 90% of our viewership comes from Apple Podcasts, and so that's important that it, if it didn't shoot to Amazon Music, I'm sure 2 people would be very upset. But my bread and butter is Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud. So after that, a few hours later, I was like, okay, well, I need to get the edit up for D&D. So same process, edited it, got it put up. And 3 hours go by, and I'm like, okay, it's not on Apple Podcasts yet. That's odd. And then I was like, I'll go to bed. Maybe it'll be up in the morning. And then same thing, nothing's there. And I'm looking at the SoundCloud stats, and the plays are abysmal on it, absolutely terrible. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, this is ruining this episode. We put so much work into this, and we have tens of plays.
I thought that was
I'm
good.
like, right? For some people, for us, that used to be a big deal. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's because I put hell in the title. Changed that, nothing happened. Started a support ticket with Apple, nothing happened. I'm freaking out. I re-upload it, nothing happens. And it literally took me. Now, today I'm not feeling well. I'm under the weather. Just had so much shit to deal with. Victoria's out of town until probably the next hour or so. An hour of troubleshooting this file, looking through all the data, why is it working, why is it not working, why did John's episode post, and I'm thinking, well, that was our 500th public episode. Maybe Apple Podcasts has some weird limit, you can only upload 500 episodes, and shit, what do we have to cut? Obviously Small Talk is top of the list to cut, just kidding. But I'm thinking what is going on? Finally I get it to work, and it uploads, and all is right in the world. And that's just a little peek behind the curtain of what goes into running the Collecting Weekly Empire.
What was this? You don't know?
I don't know. I what I think it could have been, the only thing I could think of is the file name had the word hell in it, so I changed the file name to just something random, and then that shot to Apple Podcasts right away. So
Weird.
the only thing I can think of is
bro.
maybe they prevent vulgar file names or something. I don't know.
Well, guys, that was Tuesday's episode. See you next week. Bye.
Just kidding.
How dare you?
hate to see it.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the doll collection.
These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
This is the true form of lore gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm John.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We want to thank our friends over at 1-6 Corner for sponsoring this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. Don't forget to use code CW10 during our live recording for 10% off all in-stock items. That's code CW10.
We have a great show planned for you guys tonight. Not a ton of news, but we're going to be here, and we're going to be entertaining. We got Toy Mafia in the chat, Ninja Squirrel 30, Tukatri, Mark Pearson, the old broad passed out. Guess it's me and the bad boys of CW. Hey, fellas. Eddie, Aero Maestro, Danny Lee, Absolute Irwin. Let's see, Baby Boy 562, Best Day of the Week, where we get to hear Ben Thomas talk about Hot Toys with occasional input from his friends. Tina St. Cruz, Pablo Meza. What else we got here? Bob Dylan, David Hugh, Eddie, Aero Maestro. We also got Ben Thomas 166 Oilers Workshop Tukatri, Danny with the Mygovan, and you'll love to see it. Benjamin Bowman, Sean Usby, Robin Bowman, the Bowman's in the chat, love to see it.
Whoa.
And Universal Key, Sean Usby, where the hell is Zach's goatee? I think I got sick because I got a haircut, and someone just being all up in your face for like 30, 45 minutes is probably not good for one's health.
The
And,
goatee ran, Sean.
That's
The goatee
that's
ran.
my story, and I'm sticking to it. We got Yomo.
Did the barber
here.
shave your goatee as well, or did you shave that part and you just got a haircut?
No, they shaved my balls, Ben. I shaved my goatee.
Jesus.
You
hate to hear
Standard
it.
San Antonio cut right there.
It went
That's called
sideways
the,
quick.
The
Hey,
Edgar
man,
cut.
Manscaped isn't a sponsor anymore.
Yeah. Dean, we have a very special segment that all the best shows start out with.
Yeah, you guys ready?
Yes.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What'd you get new this week? So I went to HEB because I needed some snacks. I was out of like cookies and whatever.
Sweet
I
tea.
thought he was gonna say carrot sticks with a little dip or some celery sticks.
No, it's like I'm getting Oreos, bro.
Vegan
Or
always.
double stuff, bro.
To be fair, I did also get carrots, but that was like last week. But
It's Kevin's dinner.
That was for Kevin. I was like,
yeah. How dare you guys? So I was like, you know what? I'm a little curious. I'm gonna skip to the toy aisle, see what's back there, and they had some good stuff. I picked up a Sonic the Hedgehog,
Wow.
I thought you said they had good stuff.
Tails the Fox. They did. How dare you? And Rouge the Big Titty Bat. So these are the
Wow.
Jack Pacific 4-inch articulated figures. So I need
it-
Shadow, Omega. I think that's it. I think that's all I need. And an Eggman.
Is that
What is the
Rogue
name of
or
the last one?
Rouge?
Rouge.
Rogue, maybe?
The Big Titty
Perhaps.
Bat.
it's French.
I don't think they officially put Big Titty Bat on here, but she's a bat with big old titties.
Just the variant one. all right.
Yeah.
Danny wants us
don't
to take care
Google
of his
that.
huevos when I visit San Antonio. You'll love to see it.
Wow.
Danny, we will give you the old San Antonio switcheroo, as we call it.
I
down
thought
here.
you had that taken care of already.
Jesus Christ. Ben, you're the only other one that had a new this week. What did you get? Was it an unmute button for your mic? Or?
It was. Hey, that's good. That is good etiquette right there.
That is good etiquette. You love to see it.
Yeah, I know I overloaded our chat with photos this week, but I was pretty stoked about this. So these are the 7-inch NECA turtles, and I picked up 2 last week. And as soon as I got 2, I was like, okay, like you can't have 2 turtles and not get the other 2. So I had Raphael and Donatello first, and then got Mikey and Leonardo afterwards. And dude, these guys are the movie turtles.
It's
Yeah.
funny. It's really funny you say that because when I open up a box of turtle chocolates, I say the same thing. There's no way I could just eat 2. I gotta polish off the box.
Same applies.
Turtles chocolate used to
Love
be
to
my
see it.
Christmas snack, dude, before I had to go
Exactly.
gluten free. So good. But these were amazing. I'm blown away by these guys. Considering that they're 7-inch, like I honestly almost feel like the quarter scale is almost overkill considering how good these guys actually are. So I
And
was
these
blown
are
away.
like 4 more inches than you really need, too.
It's
100%.
about yeah.
I feel like if these were 3-inch, that'd be more than enough figure for most people.
More than enough.
Yeah.
That's an adequate size. I mean, average even, above average size.
7 inches. It's like, whoa, what? There's so much figure here.
You know, I didn't even want to say 7-inch because I knew you guys would take it there, but I also didn't want to confuse people with quarter scale.
Fucking dying over here.
But if anybody's on the fence about these, I know that the production run on these is over. So once they're gone, they're going to be hard to find. Not to create FOMO, but I would definitely recommend them. They are pretty badass.
Bro,
sure.
I have never seen these in the wild. For how many times have they've come out?
Really?
Never once seen them. I do have Raphael because a beautiful listener of the show sent him to me. Because he got the 2-pack with, what's the hockey guy? And he only needed the hockey guy, so he sent me the Raphael.
Casey Jones?
Wow.
Yeah,
Casey Jones?
Casey Jones.
So does
are
your
you
one
going
have
after
a
the
jacket?
three?
Does your Raphael have a jacket then? Like, is it the disguise Raphael? Or is
Yeah,
it...
and I
Yeah,
just
that's
took
a sweet
off,
one.
but yeah, I have
Yeah,
the
that's
box
a sweet
and
one.
everything.
Yeah, I think I still want to get Splinter. I definitely want to get Foot Soldiers, and I've now seen the Shredder as well. So it's a slippery slope, but I feel like this is the type of line that, you can kind of get the mainstays and then call it a day and enjoy the collection. So I've got them behind me. I'm enjoying the shit out of them, 100%.
I want to plug this right now at the top of the show, and I'm going to plug it at the end of the show. This Saturday is Pose Wars, and it's 1/12 scale Pose Wars because that was the number one thing people asked for before we ended the last Pose Wars. So if you want to pose with us, I'm putting this squarely on the shoulders of the community that not begged, but asked for months for us to bring Pose Wars back. We put a lot of work into this. We need more posers. I think we have 4 right now, which we technically could do it with, but I'd like to have like 6 or 7 to really get the full effect. So if you want to pose with us, NECA will work. I'll make the exception.
I was going to ask. Okay.
But we need posers. So again, I'm putting this on the community because if we can't get this first episode off the ground, to me the show's dead. Like it's not even worth continually trying to bring it back up. So I'm putting this on the community. So if you want to pose with us, message me on Facebook and we'll make it happen. It's Saturday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. Let's get into the news. Reva by Hot Toys was put up for solicitation last week. We talked about the I guess it was like a teaser in a magazine. We have it this week. $260 releasing October 2023 to March 2024. I think this portrait is beautiful. It is honestly one of the better portraits that I've seen as of late, and I think Hot Toys deserves every bit of compliments that we can give them for this. I think it's really well done. I still do think this would have fared a bit better with 2 portraits. She was very expressive in the show, but as is, you get kind of the finale type outfit. You get the main outfit. It does have that USB lightsaber, which I think is really neat, and some of the variations of the saber that you saw throughout the show. To me, this is really fine work by Hot Toys, and the $260 price tag. If that's what it is, I don't think it's too bad. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, this head sculpt is probably the shrinkiest shrink ray we've ever seen. At least in recent memory, I think this might be the best one they've ever done. Moses Ingram is a babe, bro. She's so beautiful. That being said, Reva as a character is terrible. So I won't be picking this up, but I could see why somebody would want this, and just objectively, this figure is very well done. The price point, pretty good. $260, considering we're usually trending up towards $300. That's not bad. A little light on the accessories, but I'm not really too sure what else you could add. I thought maybe that little Lola droid, because she kind of interacts with that. Again, I don't know what else you could throw in there other than that. So a little light on the accessories, but hey, at $260, that's a pretty good price. I think it's a solid release. I guess they're all coming around the same time, so I was kind of expecting it to be a little earlier, but I mean, it's not that bad. So, solid.
Dean, if you like the actress, what would be your Bargain Bin Bros price on this?
Just to have Reva on the shelf?
Yeah.
Definitely sub 200. Maybe 160,
Have to get pretty
180.
low.
Just
Okay,
to clarify,
so
you don't like the character, not the actress, right?
Yeah, the actress is great.
Yeah.
Moses Ingram,
Ben
like I
said you don't like the
she's-
actress.
She's
Did I say that? I meant to say the character, but you like the
I was
actress.
like, well,
Sorry.
let's
yeah, I like
Thank
the
you.
actress.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
dial that
Yeah,
back a bit.
Dial it back. Dial it back.
I thought this was a really good release until I saw these side by sides. Can you go back one? Or is it just me? Does it not seem off a tad?
She almost looks a bit older than the actress actually looks in the show. When you see
Especially
it
on
side
the
by
right.
side.
On the right side. There's something that's off, in my opinion.
I think it's the only thing I can see is I think she's a little bit darker
skin tone, yeah.
complexion, but it's also definitely a lighting thing. So I don't hate it because if you look here on this right photo, the skin complexion looks pretty good. I would say it needs a little bit more brown in the skin tone. It looks like a bit gray, and that's Dean. If you remember, way back when Victoria would always say that Hot Toys, whenever they did dark complected characters, they would paint them really gray, and they do the same thing with their Caucasian skin tone characters. But I think that's a classic 6 scale trope where like if you took a portrait and put it next to your hands or like your skin, it's really gray usually, and I think that's the problem there.
They really did well on the hair. I just think maybe even the eyes. I don't know. Regardless, we need a representation of her so she could go with Vader and the Grand Inquisitor. Now, 260 is fairly priced. Now, what I worry about is that material on that chest area, that region there, that pleather over time. That I'd watch out for. The arms look like they're a fabric material, so that I don't think you're gonna have an issue posing her there. It's more just that chest area, and if we're gonna get any peeling over time. But again, there's so many. Every other figure we have that in the back of our head, so I don't think that should deter you from picking this up. Especially if you're completing the line. I think it's fairly priced in today's market, and yeah, it's a nice release. Just off a tad.
I'm surprised how thick the thighs look on the figure. I don't remember her being that thick necessarily in the show, but it's not something I was necessarily, I guess, looking for.
Damn,
I really
boy,
like the look of the
he's
figure.
thick. Damn, boy!
I like the look of this figure. I think she's beautiful. I think the hair on it's amazing. With the right lighting there, it looks fantastic. I think it's kind of weird that even though the character wasn't very well liked, the Hot Toy figure is coming out so well. Even though it was the Kenobi show, and I would say that like what we've seen of the Kenobi figure, he looks a little swollen and allergic in the face. So it's weird to me that the main actor, like the main character of the show, didn't get that great of a Hot Toy, but the character who like people seem to really not like got such a great Hot Toy. It's weird. What were you gonna say, John?
No, you froze
Your internet broke out just a little bit.
Oh, did it? Oh, jeez, you hate to see a janky internet. I agree that the accessories do seem a little light, but I do see that hologram of the fifth brother there, and it does make me wonder if that's just a tease for an upcoming release, just like Vader with the Inquisitor was, and vice versa. So that'll be cool to see. I think if you were able to get all of these in your collection at a reasonable price, I think it would be worth it. I think it's going to look really cool. And her with Vader, I think would look also really cool just to kind of recreate that fight scene, even though Vader didn't kill her for some reason. Spoiler. But I would say that for me, I'm kind of with Dean on this one. Unless she hit a pretty solid bargain bin price, I probably would hold off on this one for quite some time. For me, I just recently built a list of figures that I want to get next year, and she didn't make the cut at this point. So we'll see how it goes, but it would have to drop pretty significantly to get me there.
It's tough when you think about reasons why you'd add a figure to your collection. Is it like, oh, you like the property? I didn't really care for Obi-Wan that much. Like, there were some really great moments, right? But of course, getting the Vader from that, I really do want that Obi-Wan. But how deep down the line do I want to go for a show that I didn't particularly love? Or do you go for a character that maybe you kind of liked? I thought the idea of the character was really cool, but kind of towards the end of the series, like most things in it, kind of broke down. Or is it, you think the figure looks great, and I think this one personally looks really good. And it's something that I really do want to add to the collection. She will look great next to Vader. So it's just kind of debating, like Ben was saying, what's that price point where you would add her? I think 260 is fairly reasonable. So if she didn't drop any lower than that, I probably could live with that. And just add her at some point. So it's definitely one that I'm watching kind of how the market plays on her, but it does look great. And it's definitely something that I do want to add to the collection.
Last point, I think the worry that I would have here is that if this figure doesn't necessarily do well, I hope Hot Toys doesn't associate that with her being a character of color. I know that we've had issues in the past of getting some of these amazing actresses and actors in Hot Toys form that are of color, and like I would hope that Hot Toys wouldn't see low sales on this figure as that like the racist or the racial card, because I think there's so much good about this character, or I should say this actress. She's been in lots of banger stuff already, and I think she has a really bright future ahead of her. Even if we didn't like her in Obi-Wan now, I honestly think we're going to see a return of this character in the future, and I think they're going to start to develop her arc slowly over time, and it may actually end up being really impactful, and then it would be cool to have this first representation of the character in your collection. I hope they just don't see it as that anyways.
Euler says, I was actually okay with Reva as a character, just think the writing in the second half of the show for her was problematic. But this figure is amazing. I'm super tempted just because of the artistry. Yeah, I agree. Anyone else have a take on this?
I was just going to say, I've heard a lot of people say that, like, just based on an artistic standpoint, this figure's a banger. And they would get it just based off that alone. So,
Gotcha. Marco, did you go already? I'm sorry.
Yeah, my comments were that memorable, though, that, I went already.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I was trying to make sure I wasn't missing anything in the comments. I don't want to be...
They shaved the beard and missed a little.
Hey, I'm not feeling well, and I'm here today, so I don't want to hear it from anybody.
You're a trooper. You're a trooper, bro.
Limb Toys, John Marston head sculpt was teased with an alternate Arthur Morgan head. I think Limb Toys makes some of the best figures in the third-party realm. I think it was Fern from Pose Wars that we saw pose the what was it, the Gunslinger, I think is what they called it. That's such a neat figure, some great accessories, really able to capture the swagger from the show. So I think this is going to be interesting. At this point it seems like it's just a portrait, but I think, Marco, I think you added this to the show sheet. Was this a tease for a full figure, or is this just like a head sculpt that you could buy down the road?
Yeah, I think it's a tease for a full figure, honestly, because I know John Marston, he's the protagonist from the main game, right? Or excuse me, the first game, Red Dead Redemption 1. So I think eventually they'll be releasing a full figure, but I haven't seen any more on this tease.
So they just gave us this, more like Limp Toys.
Wow.
Yeah, at least Marco.
Anyone else?
Who's this from? Red Dead. What's this game from?
Red
Dead
Redemption 2. Yeah. Anyways, no? Anyone? We got a 20-minute show today. 30
No,
minutes.
it's okay.
Sylvester Stallone and the Stallone line, the official clothing brand of Sylvester Stallone, is releasing a 1/6 scale Cobra figure. They released a Rambo, I want to say 2-3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was an okay figure. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but this is going to be their next figure in in this line. And I got to say, I really genuinely respect. He's going out there. He's kind of grabbing his own license and doing it the way he wants it done. And I got a lot of respect for that. I think the first figure, like I said, is pretty decent for a first outing, and hopefully they learned enough from this first go around with Rambo to make some improvements on this one. But there's not a ton of information about pricing, but I think this one's slated for Q4 2023. So. Hopefully we'll have some more information for that soon, but I know with the Rambo it was pretty hush-hush right up until, it came time to open up the pre-order. So, anyone a big Cobra fan here?
I've never seen this movie. Dean, you got to make it a movie of the week, buddy.
I didn't even know of this movie.
Never
That's
seen
how detached I am.
Yeah, no, Cobra's cool. I grew up, my dad loved the movie. The car is kind of like the draw of the movie. It's a really cool. His car is fucking awesome. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what it was. I just remember what it looks like. It's this really cool gunmetal gray. But yeah, it's an interesting movie. Crime is the disease. Meet the
Pablo
cure.
Meza is correct. The price is $290.
$290.
I do not accept responsibility for this.
That's pretty high.
What the hell? There's more pictures too. Jesus.
Are there?
Here, let's take a look at some of these photos here.
Okay, 1950 Mercury. Yeah.
Look at that.
Jesus, put the glasses back
This honestly is a good-looking figure.
It looks decent right there, yeah.
It does look like a...
Thank you, Pablo.
Yeah.
What are you guys on?
You don't like it?
Are you kidding me?
Can we go back to that first one? It
That's
looks
the
good.
most Stallone-looking Stallone, I think.
Stallone's
we've
got a
gotten
droopy
in
face,
1/6
John.
before.
He could take a lot of punches from.
I don't know. Hold on.
Apollo
Go up
Creed.
a second. Go up. It
Yeah,
almost looks.
I'll go back up. Let me
Okay,
see.
yeah, that one. Let me see that. That one down there is good. Keep going.
That's
Up.
a good portrait. to
That's
be
a good
honest.
portrait. Yeah. It almost looks like not photoshopped, but something with the
Somebody's,
photography's
like,
a little
copied and
off.
pasted their head on or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Too much gabagool. Too
I
much
see that.
gabagool.
I could.
The way the neck's sitting is something's not kosher there.
It looks like the sideshow Anakin with the crooked apple, Adam's apple.
Jeez.
Bob Dylan. Inigo Gill did the sculpt, so it's a banger.
Right here. Look at this. Look at the way this. Something's not right here. Something's fishy in this photo.
I think it's the skin tone is too dark for the body.
The
I
head.
think that's what it
yeah,
is.
the head.
Yeah, the head. Sorry, the head is too dark.
It's
I
got
like
a lot
it.
of
Pretty thick,
5
too.
o'clock shadow.
I like the forearms though. The way the anatomy of the body and the grenades and everything else looks good. But that head, something's up with that head.
Can you imagine
I've-
just being a
I've
regular
never-
street cop and carrying grenades?
I'll tell you this: I've never carried a grenade, but is that the way that you carry a grenade with the fucking thing on your belt like
The
that?
Joker did it. So
It's the safest way to carry that.
Doesn't seem safe.
Doesn't
Like one
seem
false
safe.
move and the fucking little thing comes out. These shoes look bad though.
yeah, this needs a little love.
I don't love the denim. I'll be honest. I don't love the denim.
The gun looks pretty soft too. But like, hopefully, there's other guns you could give them potentially.
Oh, look at this. The pouch is actually
That
function. That's cool.
base is horrible. That cobra there.
It's a
that's-
cobra. It's a cobra base. That's fucking
Oh,
awesome.
I didn't even see the
That's
cobra in there.
fucking
That's
awesome.
too. That's a little.
John, come on. That's
Also,
fucking
It's
awesome.
over the top.
Like his last name is Cobretti. That's not even a real name. That's like I want to name him Cobra, but like don't want to lean into it. Like, how can we get around that? We'll call him something like Cobretti.
What's the significance? What's the significance of the full size Cobra, Dean? Like, is that his pet?
That's
or?
his nickname.
No, yeah, everyone calls him Cobra.
No, but is there an actual Cobra in the movie though, or they just? throw
No,
it in
that's
for
his
fun?
name.
It's been a long time since I've seen it. I don't remember there
That
being
is
an
the
actual Cobra.
dumbest base.
I get it.
That,
His-
that is the coolest thing
That's
I've ever
worse.
seen.
I like that base.
That
I
base
think that-
is worse than the sand base, the Hot Toys sand base.
Oh my god.
Come on. At least
Especially
they're sculpting a
considering-
new base for a figure. Come
Especially
on, John.
considering there is no cobra in the movie.
That's
is
fucking
atrocious.
awesome. That
He
is
even
fucking
coils around.
awesome.
That's
No,
cool.
that's
the
I'm sorry.
Coolio says never go full Cobra.
Great callback to.
Look at that base.
It's got red
They-
eyes and everything.
Look at this. They could never use this base again. Like, that's dedication. Daniel, he needs a gabagool stand.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Should have put him on a piece
I,
of salami or something.
Jesus Christ. I love everything about this base. I think
Now I kind of
because you know some guys gonna post him doing a Captain Morgan on the Cobra, like 100%.
True. Why are the shoes a size 4 though? As you mentioned, why are the feet so small?
He's got the toddler shoes.
Pull it back up. Oh.
Whoever put this on the show sheet did a disservice by not putting the Cobra picture on the thing.
In fairness, I don't think that were posted when I first saw the image. The spoiler.
Okay, Ben.
So. Were you waving a hot dog over there, by the way? What the heck are you waving, Zach?
Glizzy? What?
A glizzy? You got a,
What are you
a
talking
glizzy
about?
dog? Looks like you were waving a hot dog over there, but I don't know what it
about
was.
Zach's not here. That's Fern.
What are you? I don't know what the fuck Ben is talking about.
Ben's on,
Did you
that.
see his dog in the background?
cheek.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Oh, a tail
Hang on,
maybe?
I'm
Oh,
trying
okay.
to trying to pull this Cobra up, but it's being difficult. Here we go.
Did anybody else see that? I thought Zach was waving a
you're
hot
seeing
dog
things,
around.
Boy,
I'm-
290 though.
Check the tape.
290 though.
290.
Boy, that's a tough.
That's almost a $400 figure once it gets to Canada.
And it's not even in art. Fuck.
You hate to see
Jesus Christ.
For the base alone,
mean,
though.
Come on, for the base, I would pay like a 190. minimum.
I don't like the way I could see that torso breaking
These
point there.
shoes are fucking terrible.
Yeah, why are his feet so small?
So incredibly small. What if that's screen
You know what they
accurate?
say
though?
about guys with small feet?
They got
Small
small
socks?
socks.
Why is that one picture of his watch upside down?
Because he's looking at time doing a handstand.
Oh,
These shoes look like the pastor sneakers, the Air Jesus. I mean, in that pose though.
This
Sassy.
is okay. This
Sassy.
well,
figure.
it was the 70s. That makes sense.
That's true.
Stallone should be disgusted by this product.
He's making it.
That's the problem. That's the point. He should be making the best flipping figure out there of himself. Look.
His belt is even all off center too. Jesus Christ.
Maybe he's been punched so many times he actually thinks this does look pretty good.
No, it's the plastic gets into the bloodline. All the plastic, right? All the injections.
I'm excited for this. I like the base. I think it's a nice touch.
You got to hold your lighter to the portrait a little so it could get a little more accurate.
I'm gonna pull the pictures up in bed later and think about the
Jesus,
Cobra base.
Ben.
And
Quality jokes
More
here.
bed talk.
It's over.
Bed talk with Ben.
Jesus, Ben.
Ben really
letting you
enjoys
know.
being in bed with his beautiful fiance. Every time he's like, I'm in bed with my fiance. It's like, bro, we get it. Who else would you be in bed with?
Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
Don't worry about it.
Giannis Antetokounmpo
Onto
by
who?
Interbay.
you make that up?
$2.99. Q4 2022. I gotta say,
Those fucking
Giannis
penguins.
is a good-looking guy, and this looks nothing like the Greek Freak.
This ain't it.
I'll pull up a photo for those that are curious. But I gotta say, I really enjoy these figures. I think it's great, like for the players that have won multiple championships. They'll, like Kobe, they had all his trophies and all his accolades on the, as part of the display there. One thing that I think is lacking, Marco, maybe you know this more than I do, but I feel like a lot of the characters or players that I've seen from Interbay, they usually come with a lot of different sneakers. He only has one pair here, but like Michael Jordan or the Kobe Bryants, they usually come with like 6 or 7. I think Jordan came with like 20 pairs of sneakers. So
yeah, he comes
this
with like
seems a
1
bit
through
slim.
13.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
I think
bit
for most
slim.
standard releases, they just come with the one pair. But because Jordan and Kobe are kind of like those legacy collections, they throw in a few extra pairs for them.
Gotcha. I mean, Giannis is like probably the best player in the NBA right now. So I mean, come on.
I've never heard of him.
He's
Come on,
awesome.
Dean.
Okay, so have that in your mind there, that photo there. And I just
The
don't.
Bucks have won a
see-
championship?
Yeah, they did. I just don't see this at all, to be honest. Like that, this guy here doesn't look anything like that other guy.
It's not.
Look at
Guy is
that.
It's
jacked
not
though, eh?
super far off.
Oh,
but
he's
yeah,
a
it's
freak.
definitely, like it could be like brothers.
Crazy.
They call him the Greek Freak because the guy is just an absolute tank. Like, look at him.
It seems mean.
Looks like he's chewing tobacco.
Looks more like
little bit.
Thanasis. Anyways, I guess no one. I think this is dead in the water for us here. Anyone?
Yeah, there's not a lot of basketball fans. I will say, like, I haven't gone down the Interbay line. I really do want to, but I don't like all the seams. Like, for whatever reason, that just seems off to me. And they're asking a really premium price for all these. So
That's a good point.
yeah, like I'm just so tempted because in certain lights, like even this like custom, well, the body is like obviously designed specifically for him. It looks really great, but for $290, like that sculpt should be way better than it is. So I'm waiting to break through on one of these Interbay figures. I'm sure one of these times they'll get me.
Okay, so Interbay has done Shaq, which was terrible.
Yeah, that was really bad.
They've done. Who else did they do? Kobe.
Steph Curry. They've done quite a few players. to be honest.
Iverson.
How many of them have been like spot on in terms of likeness? Like
The Kobe's are really good, and the Jordans
Kobe
are
was
really good.
really good.
12-inch Moose Dream, my Boba Fett Arena figure arrived today. Congratulations, buddy.
Sweet.
So, who's more hit or miss, Asmus or Interbay?
Well,
Who's more
depends
hit
on
or
what
miss?
line. If you're looking at the sports, maybe. Well, they stopped everything else, right? Just ignore
That question, like, who's more hit and who's more miss? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like who? Yeah, who's more hit or miss?
Asmus is a much better company, I think. To be honest, I'm
Slight
upset
advice.
because this would be a NBA player I would buy a figure of, and it's so bad. Like,
Interbay,
it's just poorly done.
Interbay in their heyday, where they did Terminator and they did the Joker and Batman, would obliterate Asmus.
Oh,
See,
you're
I
not
didn't even
wrong.
know they did.
I mean,
all that.
NECA,
They stopped. They
NECA
stopped.
obliterated the Interbay Batman, so I mean, I don't
Well,
know.
then you woke up and realized you
Well,
were.
the fans voted, so I mean,
Well,
if you're telling me the fans woke up too,
well, I don't know.
that
about
is an
but-
all-time unboxing banger. If you guys want to see a good unboxing, Inner Bay Batman unboxing at the NECA quarter scale.
We won't even compare the two. But regardless, like Enter Bay Terminator would obliterate anything Asmus has put out. But this, I don't know why they stopped. They stopped, and now they're focused on the sports stuff. I don't know. For that case, I don't know.
Hasbro's actually making NBA figures next, right?
Yeah, in
6
6
scale?
inch scale.
Oh, 6-inch.
Motherfuckers are gonna be huge.
I don't think it's fair to put Asmus and Enter Bay in the same bracket. I think you should go like
You put NECA and Inter Bay in the same bracket.
No, you shouldn't
And
put
then
NECA.
NECA
You could put NECA and Asmus, but
How dare you?
So Zach, when you were saying this is a figure that you would get, but it doesn't look good, is it just the sculpt, or is there other
It's
things
the
about
portrait.
it? Yeah.
It's the portrait.
but besides the portrait, look at everything else. There's value.
It's a nice set, to be honest, because it has all his different accolades. I'll be honest, I don't know. I know what the gold trophy is because we have 5 of them in San Antonio, but I don't know what the other ones are.
There's like MVP,
let me just
either
slip something
finals
in quick.
MVP or
Yeah, probably.
Like,
Go ahead, John.
We were just giving Reva, 260. Yeah. She comes with nothing.
Oh, in no way, this is worth it. I think.
In 290, look what you're getting though. If you're a sports fan, like you got to be a hardcore.
I would say
into the NBA Bucks fan to kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, but
I would
you're
say if
also-
it came with the home and the away jersey, maybe.
There you go.
But I think
Or
it
two
just comes
sculpts.
with the. Yeah, it just comes with the away jersey, or I guess that's the home jersey, and then the blazer or the what is that? The warm up sweater.
Okay, but also, how many NBA figures they coming out with a year?
Probably
I think
10
they're trying
this
to
year.
expand. Yeah,
Yeah, this
trying
year
to do a lot
they're
more.
actually going to do quite a few.
Okay. I mean, you have to think that every Star Wars fan is buying most releases.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine, like, let's just say there's a Bucks fan or someone like Zach, he just kind of likes this one player. He's not buying 30 NBA figures a year. So, like, the
That's
price
true.
isn't super crazy to me, considering they're paying, obviously the likeness, the license for
For the NBA itself
team,
to use
the
their
NBA,
and
the
they're going to
shoes.
Nike, to all the
Yeah.
different.
Like,
yeah,
it's
that's
not
a bad
so
point.
outrageous that I'm like, this is ridiculous, but also, like I said, they're not, like, the Shaq is terrible.
Yo, that basketball
that-
net's sick.
Was that a tune version of Jordan there?
Yeah, that
I know.
was-
I
Okay.
kind of lost it for a second. I was like, "What is that?"
I
that
remember the
basketball
Shaq.
net in the locker room is cool.
They got
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, but they should include all the jerseys because he's going to change teams again.
Wow.
So.
And a
Do
burner
they have
phone
any
as well.
Spurs players? What the fuck?
Damn it,
No,
Dean! I was going to
they
say
need-
that for the which figure do you? I wanted Tim Duncan. I would buy a Timmy D.
Dude, Timmy D, Manny G, Tony P. Come on.
Wait, Manu?
Yeah, Manu
Not Man-
Ginobili, dude.
Oh, you said Manny G. That's our
Yeah,
Manny.
oh, that is Manny G. Man.
Manu G.
Well, people call
I'd
him
buy a
Manny.
1/6 scale Manny Gonzalez NBA figure.
Me too,
Like a
dude.
baller as fuck.
Wow.
Kit's cons. No, that like a basketballer. How dare you? That's what the kids say, right? Why you gotta make it? I was giving him a compliment, and you.
I
had to take
actually
it the wrong-
didn't pick up on what you said, and you immediately went into defense.
Fuck you.
mode. That's what the funny part.
Because I know you. I just know you. The Kit's Concept Macross VF1S Agata Flame with Fast Pack Armor Limited Edition. That's a mouthful. November 2022. This one comes in at $259.99. This is 1/72nd scale, limited to 1,000 pieces. Is this a pickup for you, Dean?
This is tempting. One limited edition, only 1,000 pieces. But I have the 1/72nd VF1S and the VF1J, and they're not particularly the best VF1s out there. But this one, for those who are listening and not looking at it, is based on the color scheme of the Transformer version. What's his name? Jetfire. Thank you, Erwin. Yeah, it's a Jetfire tribute, G1. So it's cool. It's kind of like this kind of mix between, well, it is Macross, but it's also paying homage to when Hasbro kind of took the figure. It was a whole licensing thing. They were like, fuck it, we have the rights to it, we'll just use it. And then it launched like this fucking culture war. It's insane. You should look it up. But yeah, so it's cool. It's very tempting, but 259 seems a little high. I think they're usually like, even with the fast pack armor, I want to say they're like 179 usually. So I don't really understand the German price. I guess just because it is limited, I'll probably end up skipping it because it's just an homage to Transformers. I don't even collect Transformers, so.
What did we say the price was on this team?
$259.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's up there, eh?
Pretty high. And like I said, Kids Concept, they're not terrible, and they have lights for as small as they are. Light up cockpit, light up engines, light up the fast pack armors, light up. So like they're definitely worth what I think is the original price. I don't know about 259.
Is it batteries, sorry, or is it like a rechargeable or USB or like?
Yeah, they're like little watch batteries you got to put in there.
Interesting. Okay.
But like they cut the fit and finish just like isn't there. Like you'll like peg something in because they transform, so they have to like hold their form, and like the pegs will just keep popping out, and it's very, very annoying. But yeah, I just thought that was cool.
So two things. If you're in the United States, Chrome Boba Fett is shipping this week, and then
Chrome Boba Fett.
Or Jesus Christ, sorry.
What is
telling you,
I'm telling you, I'm under the weather. I'm here. I'm under the weather. I'm live.
He got his balls
not a
shaved,
cat.
and now he forgot the whole show sheet.
Well, ball.
Okay, Ben, you give me no price for Cobra. You give me no picks for Cobra. I'm over here washing and drying. We got listeners correcting us in the chat.
There's only so much I can do in bed in one evening. Okay?
Throne Boba invoices sent out. The one that we talked about last week, and Chrome Clone Trooper is now shipping. So there's
Throne Boba or just the repaint single.
Oh my god, I don't know.
Is anyone still buying that?
Jesus
I want to
Christ.
say it's the repaint armor, not the.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on the throne yet. That's why I asked.
Lane says, looks like Throne Boba notices going out from Sideshow 6-scale news to you live. So
yeah, Bob Dylan sent it
if
over
Lane's
too.
wrong, he's fired.
No, Bob confirmed as well. Bob Dylan confirmed as well.
Okay, that's
Thank
sweet.
you. Where's that? Where's this Bob Dylan comment?
Sweet angel.
Wait, where is it?
Where
That's
did
like
Bob
from
Dylan
like
say
3 years ago already. No.
The Book of Boba, wasn't that not that long ago?
No, that was the end of Mando season 2.
Like, are we?
Oh,
in
that's
the
right,
Mando,
yeah.
Wait,
Are we,
where did Bob
Jeez.
Dylan?
Are we still
comment
excited
this?
about that?
I don't even
Did he
know.
send in the chat, John?
No, he didn't send in the chat.
Where'd he send it?
I'm confirming it. What do you need? A physical evidence is coming from the word.
Zach
of
is
God.
asking for it.
Oh,
I mean, I just want to make sure I'm not giving false information.
no, we're not
'cause
giving
I've been
false
accused.
information. If when I say
Okay, Bob
when
Dylan
the
says he
words-
got. Yep, Bob Dylan. Yep, I got the screenshot.
Nice,
Bobby
okay.
D, fucking guy.
when the words come out of these lips, it's 100%.
Those lips don't lie, just like Shakira.
But John, when
you know what else
said-
doesn't
Think
lie?
about her taxes.
Jesus
when John,
Christ.
when John says who wants that though, I think that's actually like a really cool version of Boba that I'm keeping my eye on. Undoubtedly, if the 2-packs drop 25%, this one may follow soon. So keeping an eye on it for sure.
That throne is badass.
Yeah, it's badass. The problem is it's coming out after the Book of Boba. If that came out if that came out immediately at the end of Mando, that thing would have sold like this.
Immediately.
But we got to see Book of Boba. Everyone was disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone, but people were disappointed. So it's
Most
tarnishing.
people
Let me
It
tell you this:
lost
I'm
its
flying.
luster for sure.
I'm flying solo today. Victoria's out of town. Equine says, "Pop some pills and take a nap." As soon as the show's over, I'm going to bed, and ain't nobody can stop me. You know what else can't be stopped, John? Our sponsor.
That's right. 1/6 Corner. Their mission is to provide the best figures and collectibles to their customers. They offer great prices, great packaging, fast shipping, and best in the business customer service. Collecting Weekly listeners get 10% off in-stock figures while our show is live. Be sure to use code capital C, capital W, 10. You can choose your figures, pay safely with PayPal, and you leave the rest to them.
All right. So Boba Fett arena suit, 6 scale figure. This is the black armor version. This was released, obviously, and there was a bit of drama with the Australian collectors, and here's what we've got here. Because an address utilized on your Sideshow account is located in a restricted region, we are unable to fulfill this order. This is unfortunately out of Sideshow's control, and we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience. A full refund, including the deposit and any rewards used, will be processed to the original payment method within 2 to 5 business days. People have inquired, and the responses that were given was there may be another vendor that's got the license for distributing that particular piece in your country. They also went on to say that it's not related to the battery issues. And so at least at present, that's, kind of what's going on. And I genuinely feel bad for those collectors that, chose not to go with the Hong Kong resellers. And, they kind of got shafted, to be honest. And I'm genuinely upset for them.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. Because it's kind of like last minute, like, oh, by the way, you're not getting your thing. Sorry. It's like, why couldn't you have told me this ages ago? What changed? Like, I don't understand.
And we don't know what the licensing issue is?
There has been no confirmation of what the issue is that I can see. I've just seen a lot of people.
Oh my God.
It's kind of fucked up. A lot of people have been celebrating that they're converting on the wait list. And a lot of Australians are very upset that they, they're basically forced to pay, if they really want to, these, because the pricing on the aftermarket was bad already. Like, some people said it's $900 plus. But now that this has happened, it's, more demand, less supply. So
I would have thought it was the batteries for sure, but if they're confirming that it's not, that's shocking. Oh, OG fan saying the Australian import laws have changed.
Yeah, someone was saying that it may be because every product has to be vetted, to make sure it complies with these things. But to me, that doesn't make any sense. And anyone?
Yeah, Christian saying, I kind of understand the licensing because only one store here is carrying the Arena Boba Fett as well. He's in Korea.
Wow.
Thanks for tuning in all the way from Korea, Christian.
Yeah, fucking awesome.
Does anyone on our Esteem panel have anything they want to add to this? Or
I'm just wondering if Hot Toys, well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't change even if they could come out with it again, saying like, hey, our bad, we fucked up, here you go, for the Australians. But I mean, if import stopped it for the first time, what's to stop it for the second time? So
yeah,
I just don't know what the issue is that would cause a whole continent to not be allowed the figure.
Not only that, but I think Pop Culture would be the distributor for that part of the world, right. And they've said that they don't have that figure. So it's not like, hey, it's canceled, go to Pop Culture to get it.
Yeah.
But
you think that would be a big enough issue, though, to like actually generate a big statement, like an actual legit statement? So
that's my point, Ben. Where it's like, okay, Sideshow's just like, sorry, nothing we can do. Maybe this, instead of like, hey, let's like try to take some steps to connect you with the supplier and try to figure out how you can get this figure. It's just like, sorry, you're shit out of luck. Better luck somewhere else, which is a really terrible response. And they should be transparent and address why this is happening.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think if they re-released the figure, Dean, even just to a specific province, it would still create like the most outrage. I think people would just go nuts.
Yeah, that's what OG fan's saying. It's a Toy Fair exclusive, so
yeah,
just
go nuts.
It would be a toughie. So one of our topics
wasn't Darkseid Anakin a Toy Fair exclusive, and then they re-released him again, and then they came out with regular Anakin? So
wasn't it not a re-release? It was just more stock coming to the.
Yeah, it was. That's how they do all the Toy Fairs. You had to be at the convention to get it.
More stock, yeah.
pulled it out of the ocean.
not a
Dude,
re-release.
I will not be surprised if we see this Boba Fett again because so many people got fucked. Because the Anakin was, I really want this fucking figure and I have to be there to get it. That's bullshit. And they're like, oh no, you could just order it online.
Okay, hold on
Here
a
you go.
second.
There's a bunch more.
I don't remember the last Toy Fair exclusive that Sideshow didn't have in stock afterwards. They always have. Sideshow always gets the Toy Fair exclusive stock. Not right away. A couple weeks.
Yeah, Dean, regular Anakin came out before Darkseid Anakin.
Dean.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it
You're right, John, too, though, because like I got my Hot Toys
Darkseid Anakin came out
Two-Face 2.0, the 2019 exclusive on Sideshow, like
Yeah, of
3
course,
years later.
Darkseid. I think Darkseid did come out
Anakin,
first.
it was a Toy Story exclusive.
I don't think so.
Yes, it was.
Hang
bro.
on,
You're right,
hang on.
Because
Ben.
Rainer bought
Hang
it
on.
for me after his accident.
You're right, Ben.
Hang
They
on.
all go
Rainer
on
bought you
afterwards.
Darkseid Anakin?
No, he bought me regular Anakin because I didn't want Darkseid Anakin. Darkseid Anakin came out first.
Yeah, that's how I got all my Toy
With
Fair
the
exclusives. I'm
amazing
here in
base.
Canada.
And
I've
when
never...
he came out regular, he didn't have the base, and people were like, oh, it comes with a
I don't
shittier
think he
base.
did. I don't think he did. Hang on.
Yes, Bob. We know that, yeah. It was a Toy Fair exclusive Darkseid, yeah. Equan saying regular Anakin came out first.
Anakin was MMS 437. Darkseid Anakin was MMS 486.
Dum, 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 dum. I usually have it on.
Yeah, right. I was wanting some suspenseful
You want me to hit the
music,
button
too.
for you, Dean?
No, because I'm not wrong.
Here we go. Just let me know when you're ready for me to press it.
No. You keep doing your fucking show.
Do it.
Just hover over the
Okay,
button.
I feel like this topic is going to go nowhere just based on how the previous sports topic went nowhere. What sports, what do you call them, athletes, would you want to see in 1/6 scale?
Off to a great start.
I should have worn my sports shirt.
Personalities,
Sports ball throwers.
That's right.
basketballers. I'd like a Tiger Woods and a Tim Duncan and David Robinson. Good old sports ball. That's who I would like. That's who I would like. What about
Sports
you,
players?
Dean? What about you?
Bro, an Emmitt Smith would be badass. And a Troy Aikman, Dallas
The
Cowboys.
triplets. Come on. Go with Michael Irvin, too.
Yeah, Michael Irvin. Honestly, like some football players would be amazing. Like Brett Favre. I fucking even hate to mention Tom Brady. I would never buy a Tom Brady, but Tom Brady. Like there's so many great football players that like there's just no 6-scale football.
Why
I
do
guess it'd
you
be
think
too
that's the
hard.
case? Is it because the uniforms are too intricate? Like they need to do the pads and the helmet
I mean,
and
that's the only thing I could think of, but I don't know. But yeah, some football players would be fucking badass.
John, what about you, buddy? What do you think?
No, I don't do sports. Ronaldo from the Portugal team, the
Nice.
soccer team. That's it. I don't know. Sports is
I've
not
seen
my
a
thing.
custom.
There's a custom. Like, no, I don't do. I don't
a
have
good one.
time for sports, guys. I'll be honest.
I love hockey, so there's some. And like I used to be a Leafs fan more so back in the day. I used to watch a lot of hockey with my dad. So, what's it called? Dougie Gilmore would be a good one. Felix Potvin from back in the day, I would love to see. Even a Sundin. I used to love Sundin back in the day. He was a killer hockey player. And then
Taidomi?
if we were talking, oh man, Taidomi
So,
would be
did you say
sweet
some
too.
D? Ben, was it some D?
Probably.
No, Sundin. You have,
Oh, Sundin? Matt
Some D?
no. Marco wants some D.
No.
No, it's Sundin.
Something about pudding? What? And also, I know it's not a legit sports player, but I would love a Happy Gilmore in my collection. I just think that would be an awesome figure, and maybe a Bob Barker golf player as well.
Yes, Bob Barker. Yes,
But-
but with the Price is Right thing.
Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore, I'd love to see it. Even a Shooter McGavin, 100%. But there's not a lot of other sports that I watch a lot. There's a few baseball players that I would maybe collect, but mostly hockey.
Yeah, I would love some more 90s NBA or like early 2000s. Like Jason Williams, I think is one that would the purple Kings uniform would just be awesome. All his tattoos. So I think that'd be a really great figure. Like Dean was saying, though, the football, that's one that I still scratch my head on and trying to figure out why there are not 6-scale football players. It's maybe because it's such an American thing, and 6-scale collecting is so niche within our market that they really can't, sell these figures globally like they could baseball or, I don't know, soccer figures, or NBA for that matter. But yeah, like football just seems like any previous players, even like I was saying before, starting with Tom Brady would probably be the natural progression, like Sean's saying here. Like he's just so famous. It'd be like a no-brainer for a company just to tackle a Tom Brady, even if it was like a Patriots version, and just see how it goes. But I am concerned that, the pads are all different sizes, the helmets, and maybe it just takes some unique tailoring. But I feel like if someone were to, take on a line like that, they'd, have a lot of money to gain. So hoping that someone does it here soon. But that is my list, and yeah, a lot of big sports fans on this panel, so this was a good topic to bring up.
You'd love to see. Who mentioned it here? I gotta find the comment now. I missed it. Sorry, whoever said it. But a Don Cherry, 100%. That would actually be a sweet setup. You could have the table, Ron McClain and Don Cherry have a flowery jacket on him
with the dog too.
The dog blue.
You people.
You. That's right. And I get Gretzky, but I've always thought Gretzky was the worst looking dude, so I don't know if I'd want him in figure format, to be fully honest. Tough crowd.
Yeah, today's.
I don't know anything about hockey.
I know this is like the worst show we've ever done.
They just shoot guns over there.
That's the worst.
It's because you shaved.
Hey,
you
to
shaved.
be fair, that is
all
an
your
Olympic
personality.
sport.
Well, not the way you guys do it. Let me tell you something, Zach. You shaved.
We have
You
all the gold
ruined
medals.
the anatomy of the show. That's
You
the problem.
shaved.
Well, only one.
I wanted to. We were like the
but-
goateeless brothers.
Yeah,
Like, come
but
on.
hello, I have a face like this.
Okay. Yeah, one too much gabagool. Are you kidding me?
Hey, leave John alone. He's handsome.
Episode.
He's the handsome. What's his name?
Yeah, it was Vintage Rebellion that mentioned the Don Cherry. Good call.
Good call.
Episode
that.
232. Opinions versus decisions. John, I'll let you intro this topic and give your thoughts first.
Yeah, we think about opinions versus decisions. We're on here, streamers. We come on here every week. There's a slew of other streamers out there giving their opinions. Maybe too many opinions. And we, the viewers, I'm a viewer myself, everyone in here tonight watching, I want to know, how far our opinions, how much do they matter to you when you're making your decision on pre-ordering a figure, on choosing a company to pre-order from? I'll say for myself personally, I watch YouTube like everybody else, statue streamers, Hot Toys streamers, whatever, like the figure streamers, like we do here. And I always make the final decision. I like to listen to other people's opinions just because it opens up another window of ideas, and it's maybe something I missed that I didn't catch when I looked at the figure, or like in art, when you guys mentioned that short cape, I didn't even pick that up until you guys mentioned it. So stuff like that, I like to hear the feedback. But I personally hope that I do what I hope my listeners do, is listen to my feedback and just say, hey, you know what? Oh, that's another perspective to listen to. Don't take everything I say with a grain of salt, just like I don't, whatever anyone else says, I just don't, oh, well, Zach likes it, I'm going to go pre-order it, or this influencer likes it, that's it. Take the time, make a decision, and be sure to make your purchases for you and your collection. Curate your collection for yourself, not for anybody else. That's what I try to do. So I thought it was a cool little discussion to have.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think when I first started like really seriously collecting back in 2014, 2015, it was kind of like in the local groups here in town, it was like, this is the hot figure. If you don't have it, like, you suck. So I was buying shit that I didn't even particularly like. It was just like, I want to be the fucking most badass toy collector in the group, right? And then eventually it just gets to a point where it's like, that's too expensive to do. I think, John, you nailed it on the head. You're like, just do what's best for your collection. And yeah, I remember like the moment that clicked for me, I was buying some Star Wars figures and my buddy was like, hey, like you should buy the rest that are in this line. It was like 3 3/4 in Star Wars. I was like, yeah, but I don't even like those characters. And he was like, yeah, but it's like, you know, you get the whole fucking thing. And I was like, but I don't want them in my collection. And from then on, I was like, I'm just going to buy the shit I like because, like, this is getting ridiculous. So, yeah, that's a interesting topic. That's a good one.
I don't know. I think, you know, kind of like what you said in the beginning, maybe probably a little bit more influence, but I think what was it? I was talking to Eddie about this, but so many people have opinions on how people should collect. Like you should have a focus, or you should stick to one scale, or you should do whatever you want. But I feel like I'm perfectly happy buying, you know, whatever I want in whatever scale I want, and you know, I think that's the way to do it. I don't think, you know, anyone should be influenced by content creators or their friends. If it makes you happy, you're the one that's going to have to pay for it and have to look at it. I think you should just get it. And don't worry about what other people think. That's what I would say.
So first of all, Dean doesn't like Darth Maul, so I purposely didn't buy it yet. Because I was devastated when I posted in the group that I wanted a Darth Maul, and Dean was like, that character is shit, you don't need it in your collection. And I was like, devastated.
Oh, but it's true.
But you have to stay to your roots. If you're a fan, Ben, you be a fan.
That was an opinion from a buddy, and I was like, damn. I was like...
Zach likes Asmus. It's the same thing.
I thought it was cool. Having said that, jokes aside.
Ben, this is the same guy that thinks The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger's Joker are no good. So
That's true. That's true. It's getting questionable as the further along we go. I think what resonates with me anyways is nobody else is giving me money to buy my collection. Right. So nobody else's opinions really matter as long as I want it, as long as I think it's cool. You know, if Dean comes over to my collection, I'll just put Darth Maul away until he leaves. I just don't want to hear it, but I'll still enjoy the shit out of it, right?
Yeah,
I think
100%.
I think the hard part, and I know John's made fun of me for this before because John only watches my YouTube videos on mute, but
he remembers.
I do. That also stuck with me. I soak shit in, guys.
John,
you know, I'm a sponge.
No, it was a good joke. What was that joke? I was actually working the other day and I thought of that joke. You said something. Oh, you were like, I like to watch my YouTube unboxings or something on mute. I said, hey, that's how I watch your videos.
That's the reason I'm getting ahead of it, because that's actually furthers my point about this, is that when I got started as a collector, I found that I was being really heavily influenced by people who knew better than I did. I didn't have any buddies or friends that collected 1/6 scale, so I started to find Facebook groups and community members that had opinions about some of these things, these really expensive items that I wanted to buy. But then I found that their thinking on it was starting to influence my decision. Like, if they thought it was crap, I was like, oh, I thought it was cool. That's the reason I wanted to even search for this video. But if Marco doesn't think it's cool, well, shit, like, maybe I shouldn't get it. But then I started to think, well, if I'm searching the video, it means that it's in my mind. I'm thinking about making the purchase. So I actually did start watching, you know, things like Justin Reviews videos on mute, so I could get a really good close look at the figure without hearing kind of the thoughts on the figure. Then I could kind of just make a judgment call on my own terms. You know, it's hard because when we have friends like we do in the community, you know, I sent Marco and Big Bretta a list of figures that I want for next year. And it was like 9 figures. And I was in bed the other night making this list. And I started to kind of tally it up. And I was at like just under $4,000 for, I think, 9 figures next year. And I was like, damn, that is a lot of money. Like, wow, like, maybe I need to kind of scale it back. And I sent the list to these guys thinking, like, you know, just to get some gut checks on it. And of course, as soon as I sent it, Bretta and Marco were both like, well, what about the Luke? What about any of the Star Wars line? What about this? What about that? And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm going to have like 27 figures next year if I'm not careful. But nobody else is buying the collection for me but me. So as great of suggestions and thought as that was, because it never reached my own thinking, I didn't think about some of those other figures because I clearly don't feel like I necessarily need them in my collection. It wasn't until I was influenced by some of my friends that I was like, oh, maybe I do want those. But then I find that those are the figures that end up in your collection that sometimes you end up selling. Like the Batman Beyond that I had. I got that figure because of FOMO and because I heard everybody talking about how freaking cool it was. And as cool as it was, it just didn't fit my collection. So I sold it and took a loss, which then didn't feel worth it. So, long story short, I think, when people say that, it's always the longest story ever. I think the decision is up to you. Nobody's going to buy your collection, and it doesn't really fucking matter what people think about it, unless you ask for their opinion. If you ask for somebody's opinion, sure, take it with a grain of salt. John, he might not like something that I do, but that's okay. Like, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to invite John over anyways. I'm going to invite Dean over and put the Darth Maul in the closet.
Wow.
So don't worry.
Wow. But it's not like, hold on. It's not like we can, but at the same time, we're all influencers here. It's not like we're all going to sit around a table and sing Kumbaya. True. Opinions are good because we have an audience. Without opinions, we'd be out of business. Like, you gotta
well, not only that, we're also, experienced. Not that the listeners aren't experienced
100%.
either. But if you make a habit of watching your review videos on mute, you're also kind of setting yourself up for failure, because Justin might point out, hey, this armor piece is a huge pain in the ass and it's always falling off, and it kind of ruins the figure for me. Mm-hmm. And you buy the figure without expecting to see that, and it starts happening to you, it's going to sour that figure for you. So, yeah, there's like a kind of healthy medium,
You're not wrong. That's a great point, Dean, in terms of a counterpoint. Because, because you're right. Like, there are some figures where you want to hear kind of the deep and dirty, right? Like, you want to know what is going on with it. But then there are figures like the Inquisitor where I didn't love the character, didn't particularly love the portrayal of the role. But after watching a whole bunch of videos about how good it still looked, I was like, well, maybe I should bring it in the collection. And I'm like, what am I even doing? Like, where is my collection journey even going? If I'm just gonna randomly buy shit because other people think it's cool, like, no, like, that can't happen. You have to still, you don't have to pick a lane. I buy, the reason I called my YouTube channel The Ben Thomas Show is because I want to collect everything that I think is cool. And if you watch it, you watch it, right? Like, if you come over, there's lots of random stuff in here. I don't feel like you need to pick a lane, but I do think you need to buy what resonates with you.
I picked my lane. He's on unboxings on Mondays. Love you, Lane.
That was good. That was really good.
It's a shaky one, though. So I will just say, as you're getting into hobbies, be it like 1/6 or honestly any hobby, it's really good to listen to those that have been in the hobby for a long time. So I think that's kind of what got me into the YouTube world. It's like, okay, I'm kind of on a fact-finding mission or collecting data. Like, let me hear what others are saying about this. So, because I haven't seen a lot of these figures. Like, when I first started collecting Hot Toys, I get the first one and I want to buy another, but like, I don't have enough data points to really make an informed decision. And obviously they're so expensive, you don't really just like buy them just to buy them. So I feel like, up front, it's pretty important to find voices that you enjoy, that you feel like you respect, and but also not sticking with just one voice. Like, kind of having a variety of opinions, I think, is also important in everyday life, right? You don't want to be in an echo chamber. And so, kind of rounding out the information you have. It's a lot more work on your end. But so I do find now that I'm a bit further into the hobby, others' opinions are a little less important, because I kind of do know what I'm getting from each release. But that kind of changes, because now that we've got in art, it's like, okay, I knew what I had with Hot Toys. I kind of know what to expect from each release, minus some variations here and there. But here comes a new player into the game. I have no experience with them. this is where I, go talk to John, go talk to others who have, had the statues or like have seen the statues or know about the company. And so you kind of like get their opinion to make an informed decision your own. So I feel like it's always just a collaborative process, but I think as everyone has said, at the end of the day, you've got to make up your own decisions and, make up your own mind, but make sure that you're listening with a kind of a skeptical mind and, just kind of taking all the data points, but not letting too much of what others say sway you, because like Ben said, at the end of the day, it's your money. You got to make the adult decision what you're spending that money on.
You'll love to see it.
100%, buddy.
Let's move on to. Actually, there's one thing I did want to talk about. So this week, Brendan Fraser was in the news. A 6-minute standing ovation, and now an Oscar favorite for his movie The Whale. And I gotta say, I'm just so happy for this man. Just been through just an absolute rough few years. He's a big part of our childhoods with Mummy, George of the Jungle, and I think it's great to see, him back in Hollywood and getting the respect that he deserves. And I just think, if there's any actor that I would love to see win an Oscar for so many reasons, I think it's Brendan Fraser. I think I just, I'm just so happy that he's in that talk for being the Oscar favorite.
Yeah, it was that was a really emotional video for him, but also as a viewer, like, man, this guy's really been through the shit, been through the ringer. He came forward at a time where people weren't really thinking about men, right? The whole Me Too movement was specifically geared for women who were slighted in the industry, and here comes Brendan Fraser like, hey, like, this fucking happened to me too, and I said something a long time ago, and instead of people listening to me, I was fucking like excommunicado from the whole fucking industry. And people were like, holy shit, we fucking dropped the ball with Brendan Fraser, and like, it's not right. And so it is really good to see that Brendan Fraser's kind of getting his the respect and the admiration that not only he deserves, because he's a fantastic actor and he's a great guy outside of the screen. Like, some actors are like amazing on screen, then you hear about them like in their personal lives and they're like pieces of shit. But Brendan Fraser's like actually just a sweet angel everywhere. It's really cool to see him getting the recognition that he has earned, quite frankly.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser, the Mummy. That's all I know about him.
Fantastic movie, by the way.
Yeah, classic Mummy. The Whale seems interesting. The synopsis for The Whale seems interesting.
I actually have not heard anything about that movie.
I just looked it up. It's about essentially it's a really obese English teacher who tries to reconnect with his estranged teenage daughter. So we'll see how that goes. But
what does obese have to do with it?
Well, that's what it says in the synopsis.
Weird.
I read that he actually put the weight on though for the role. Like, this isn't him like emotional weight or anything like that. Like, he actually tried to get this weight on.
It was on already.
I think he was a little heavy set, but we don't body shame Brendan Fraser in this house.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful man.
Yeah,
we don't body shame anyone.
Yeah, so
Can you
here's
imagine
the
if we did, and I'm the one over here doing it?
Yeah, you got a whole lot of ass.
Whole lot. No.
So the premise is, like John said, 600-pound middle-aged Charlie tries to reconnect with his 17-year-old daughter. The two grew apart after Charlie abandoned his family for his gay lover, who later died. Charlie then went on to binge eat out of pain and guilt. Like I said, it's a 6-minute standing ovation in the Venice International Film Festival, and it'll be released in December. So we got to go and check that film out and show our support for my boy Brendan Fraser. Our movie of the week was Tropic Thunder. We're probably going to do a little bit of a shorter show tonight. Had a little bit of family emergency I got to take care of after the show, so bear with us here. Through a series of freak occurrences, a group of actors shooting a big-budget war movie are forced to become the soldiers they are portraying. Look, there's a lot to say about this movie, but I think what I want to stick with is I don't think this movie could ever be made again.
Oh my god!
Like,
okay, thank you. I was watching it, and that's the first thing that came to my head was that would be made 2022.
There's certain television shows and certain movies that are literally only possible to be done once. And I mean, Robert Downey Jr. playing a black man, incredible. What is Ben Stiller, that character he plays, Simple
Jack.
Simple Jack, thank you. Could just absolutely never happen again. This is a fantastic film. Jack Black is fucking incredible in this movie.
Yes.
Tom Cruise in this movie is hilarious. Robert Downey Jr., I mean, the star among stars, right? I mean, he's just fucking incredible. And I'm glad that Usby picked this one for movie of the week. I'm glad that we entertained him, because this movie's fucking wild. And like I said, it's been a while that I've seen it, but watching it through the lens of someone in 2022, I was like, boy, this could never happen again.
Yeah, I think this movie is definitely ahead of its time, because that was like the whole point of the movie, was to show the like absurdity of Hollywood and like the shit that like they're so up their own ass that like they get away with some of this shit. So I think like watching it in today's world makes so much more sense than when it came out. Because like you said, the thing with Simple Jack like is so fucked up, and then Robert Downey Jr. in literal blackface, like that's the point and the absurdity of the movie that I think most people get lost on today, because they're like, oh my god, Robert Downey Jr. did this. It's like, yes, that was the point of, like, you missed the total fucking point of the film. Like, you're just upset because that's what you're used to being. But yeah, the social commentary on this movie is fucking next level genius. And it's entertaining as shit to watch, and it's hilarious. Jay Baruchel, awesome actor. Even Tobey Maguire's in this movie, fucking hilarious. Matthew McConaughey is like a fucking bumbling idiot. The first time I saw Tom Cruise on screen, I had no idea it was him until the end credits rolled, and it was like, Tom Cruise. I was like, holy shit, that is Tom Cruise. What the, like, blew my mind. Like, absolute banger cast. Literally at every turn you have what's his name, from SNL, he's Tom Cruise's like right hand man. I forgot his name.
Oh, I forgot his name too.
Anyway,
plays
the
Barry,
cast,
right?
Yeah.
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader, thank you.
Yes.
Bill Hader, also an insane actor. I think this is like probably one of his first Hollywood movies, because this was years ago. He was still at SNL, so to see where he's at today and like in this movie, yeah, this one of the greatest films ever. And unfortunately, I feel like now it's gotten kind of, people have taken offense to it, so probably won't have as high a ranking in the social order of things moving forward. But hilarious movie. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing with your life? Go watch Tropic Thunder. It's amazing.
Dean, I want to go after you really quick. Sorry, John, because I feel like I have a completely different opinion than everyone else here on the panel on this movie. I loved this movie when I saw it in theaters. I loved like the not PC nature of it, and I thought, Robert Downey crushed it. Jack Black's one of my favorite actors, so I was like really excited to go back and rewatch it, and it just didn't connect with me this time. Like, I didn't.
It was
find
no
it
City
funny.
of God.
I had to shut it off halfway through and go watch City of God, honestly. No, it just wasn't, it wasn't particularly funny to me. And I was like, I don't know if my taste has changed or I'm like in a weird mindset, but like, it just wasn't, the jokes weren't connecting. But the point I wanted to tear off of what you said, Dean, is I think the movie's a lot more self-aware than, like, if you just read the synopsis, if you just saw on Twitter, you'd be like, okay, well, I can't make this for sure. But I think because it is self-aware, because it's kind of making fun of some crazy shit that Hollywood has and would do, it's got a lot of redeeming qualities in that sense. But yeah, I just felt like the humor, I don't know, I've maybe moved on from it, and just didn't find it as enjoyable as the other time I had seen it.
Yeah, this 7 out of 10 on IMDb, 82% Rotten Tomatoes. This came out in 2008, and actually Ben Stiller directed this, which I didn't know. This film. This is like a shut off your brain and just relax and enjoy. Like, the lineup, the cast is, come on, these guys are rock stars. Jack Black. Oh, I felt like watching School of Rock or something after this because I love that guy. The comedy out of that guy is amazing. In the beginning, when they're showing the trailers for the fatties, remember they're showing the trailers for the movies, and then
so good, yeah, like almost like the clumps, basically.
Oh my god, yellow, exactly. Mo beans. No. What else was there that I wanted to talk about? Oh, okay. Les took the show. Freaking Tom Cruise. I loved his character, and I heard recently that they wanted to Tom Cruise wants to use him again in another film. I don't think affiliated to Tropic Thunder at all, but that character is going to come out in another film or something like that. Robert Downey Jr. I commend his acting, but I didn't like his character too much. Like, it's not for me. I like Jack Black and Tom Cruise. But let me ask you something on a side note, because I couldn't get this, and I didn't Google it either. Nick Nolte, the guy that was that 4-leaf guy, did he do Quill on Star Wars?
Quill on Star?
Okay, I have to Google it.
Who's the other guy that's not Nick Nolte?
Mickey, or not Mickey.
We'll have to look it up.
It's okay. That's completely side. I'll Google it myself. But
Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney. Okay. Anyways, I enjoyed it. That was a fun one. Again, you got to shut off the brain, sit back and enjoy.
It is Nick Nolte.
And it brought back some good memories. 2008. Damn, long time ago. So Ben, who picked this again? Ben?
Sean.
Hutsby. Why would Sean pick a movie? He was not even on the. Whatever.
We
Sean, thank you.
We did that.
Oh yeah, we did the special.
Group,
okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's Sean, forget about it then.
I am actually with Marco on this one. When I was younger and I saw this film, it didn't connect with me, surprisingly, because of my love for these actors and some of the other films that they've been in. You know, Dodgeball, School of Rock, like so many other films that I just thought were absolutely hilarious back then. And I remember seeing this film and not thinking it was as funny. And at the time I thought it was because it had been overhyped to me. Like, you know, it's just like one of those, like, when everybody tells you how funny a movie is and then you see it and you're like, yeah, like, it was funny, but like, I don't know, it wasn't laugh out loud sort of thing. And then, so I never watched it again until this week. And so this is going, like 12 years later, 13 years later. It's crazy. And I kind of felt the same way again. I felt like, because the boys picked it and because I figured you guys would probably like it, I wanted to like it the whole time I was watching it. And for the whole time I was kind of like, it was good. I found it entertaining in terms of just, like you said, kind of sitting back with some popcorn and just watching a film. But I did start to kind of drift and think about some of the other films that these actors have been in that I liked more. So that was a little off. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one that felt that way, Marco. So
no, Ben, I think you nailed it though. It's more of like a fun watch than like a make you laugh type of comedy. Like, oh, it's just like a passable entertainment than like you actually belly laughing.
For sure. It wouldn't be one that I would buy. Like, I wouldn't buy it and have it in my collection. I don't know if I'd see it again. But I really did like Tom Cruise's character and Jack Black's. I mean, those guys they're awesome. And it was worthy of watching again. I'm glad I gave it another shot, but it ended up having kind of the same gut reaction. So I apologize if I'm on thin ice with Sean. He's the man, but didn't love this one. So
let's rewind a bit. So first off, Dean, you get to pick movie of the week next week. What do you want to pick?
Yeah, I talked to you briefly about this movie. It's on Netflix here. It's called The King, starring Timothy Chalamet.
Banger ass movie.
It's good.
Hopefully
I
John
was
and
totally
Ben can get that.
surprised.
Pirate Bay. I'm a pirate.
Family emergency may have been averted. So let's spend some time here. We got two really awesome shows that have been going on. Very, very blessed to have that. House of the Dragon and the Rings of Power. And I'm curious, spoiler free for those that have seen it. What are your thoughts? I'll start off. I think House of the Dragon is an incredible show. I think it's classic Game of Thrones, the good Game of Thrones, as they say. CGI is ridiculous. There was a scene in not last week's episode, but the week prior. It was literally jaw-dropping. And I'm really enjoying that show. Rings of Power, a little bit of a slower show, but definitely not, nothing too crazy. I think it was great to see a lot of the things that we saw in the opening of the show. I think the opening sort of prologue really rivals the Fellowship prologue, to be honest. And I'm genuinely excited to be a part of the community. There's some fucking idiot trolls, to be honest, and ignoring those people, but all the theories, because a lot of this stuff that this show is going into is sort of, not Tolkien canon, so to speak, so they can kind of have a little bit of flexibility. And so it's really fun to be a part of those communities and, kind of see all the theories as they're developing and, being proven right or wrong. And it's just a good time. It's a good time. What about you, Dean? What do you think?
Yeah, specifically with House of the Dragon, so far, absolute banger. I haven't really been too disappointed in any one decision they've made. I also have kind of zero expectations, so even if they steer kind of away from the books, I don't think I'll be super disappointed.
Weren't the books from an unreliable narrator perspective anyways, though, and this is the definitive telling of it, or?
I don't know what you mean.
Okay. Anyways, I'll talk about it on my turn.
Okay, yeah, because as far as I know, the books are just, by Jerry, or what's his name? Or George R.R. Martin. But anyway, yeah, I kind of have no expectations. So every episode that has been released, 3, I've been pleasantly surprised by it. Especially this last episode, fucking banger, bro. It's at one point I was like, this is kind of boring, but then going back and really understanding what the episode was about, I was like, that was fucking tight.
Bro, I guess I was watching the show. I was watching on my phone like a fucking plebe, and I guess I fast forwarded through 15 minutes, and Marco's kind of like my guy that I chat with Game of Thrones in the morning because you're not awake, and I was like, bro, this story makes no fucking sense. They're going on about this fucking thing, and then there's no resolution, and all of a sudden all this shit's happening. I was like, this is some sloppy ass storytelling.
I thought you were gaslighting me.
And Marco's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, you didn't see blank, blank, blank? And I was like, no. And I was like, wait a second. And I went back and I was like, bro, I literally missed 15 minutes of incredible storytelling that wrapped up every little nugget of shit that I had missed.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. After the show, Dean, I'll talk to you about it because I literally missed the most 15 important minutes of the show.
Oh, yeah. So I was really, really pleased with episode 3. I think this is kind of the turning point of the story, and moving forward, it's going to be a lot, maybe not faster paced, but just not so much exposition. Moving on to the Rings of Power. Pleasantly surprised I didn't hate this, because everywhere you look on the internet it says it's fucking garbage. Mm-hmm. But if you really sit down and watch it and pay attention, it's for all intents and purposes, pretty good storytelling. They don't have the rights to the Silmarillion, so they've kind of, like Zach said, it's not canon Tolkien. So the liberties they're taking are kind of interesting, and I want to see how they come together, because so far, to me, it makes zero sense. But again, I'm kind of just along for the ride, and I haven't been overtly upset by anything I've seen. So if you're wondering if it's woke garbage, it is not. Because that's something I see everywhere on YouTube. Like, this show's trash. It's not. It really isn't. So give it a shot if you're curious. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I just want to see more Galadriel because she's a banger.
David Ford hopping in to say hi during my work break. I look forward to listening to you guys on the podcast app on my way to work tomorrow. David, have a great rest of your work day today. David. And have a great work day tomorrow. Drive safe, my friend.
Man, you guys have way too much time on your hands to be watching all these shows.
Because no one works anymore.
Nobody works. Who works? We need the shirt. Who's working?
John, I'm not sure if you missed this in the chat.
Zach was on his phone.
Well, I was. To be fair, I was watching it at work. But, John, I need the sticker design.
Okay.
That is your task.
Okay.
For,
do you know how I watched
October?
the movie of the week?
Dangerously.
In my car while I'm driving at 130 kilometers an hour. Because I can't fit it anywhere else. That's how I watch.
Don't
these
say
movies.
that on a live podcast.
Well, whatever. No
I'm
one's
gonna
know
keep
where I
picking
am.
movies with subtitles. just for that.
John watches these movies while he's filming Carpool Collecting. He's doing everything but driving. He's delivering the mail. He's got the Carpool Collecting going. Got the movie of the week.
It's a mess. No, I didn't watch these two yet. I'm trying to still get She-Hulk in order.
Oh my god,
Oh,
that's like
God.
a 26-minute episode.
Well,
So,
that's
there
why I
requires
can
no
squeeze
time.
it in there.
Garbage show.
I started Rings of Power 66 minutes. I'm like, okay, we'll start this next week. I can't. I'm not into it yet. So
Speaking
we'll,
of She-Hulk, that last episode has turned me from a believer to like, no, this show is no good.
yeah, it was a little
Just like
disappointing,
that.
but that's a whole
Trash,
other. That's a whole other show. Anyways,
That's all
What
about
about you boys?
So you have
Go ahead,
not
Ben.
seen today. That's you hate to see it, or not to see it. So House of the Dragon has been a show that has just got me like so excited for Game of Thrones again. Like just watching it. It's one of those shows that makes you feel like heavy and like there's just so much going on and like the visuals are amazing. I think the storytelling's been fantastic. All of the acting I think has been really, really good. I like the casting that they've done for all the characters, including this main actress. I think she's fantastic. We were talking a little bit about Reva earlier and how, you may not buy a hot toy because you haven't connected with a film or a television show or even a scene. There was a scene in last night's episode or last Sunday's episode that I won't spoil, but it involved Matt Smith. And I mean, Matt Smith's a banger actor to begin with, but there was this one scene in that episode where I was like, it ended and I was like, I want a hot toy of that guy. Like that was real cool. That was really cool. So this show I 100% recommend to anybody, even if Game of Thrones season 8 put a bad taste in your mouth for Game of Thrones. This for me has rejuvenated my love for the franchise. The one thing that had bugged me at least a little bit at first was that they were using the Game of Thrones music. And I think maybe
It was a bit shocking.
Yeah, I found it a little off-putting, but then somebody gave me the analogy the other day. I was actually on YouTube, and they were like, think about like the Star Wars franchises though, right? Like all of the Star Wars content that's ever came out, they always use the Star Wars theme music, don't they? And like, doesn't it make you think of Star Wars? And it's like, yes, I think that's a valid point. But I still would have liked a little bit of separation or a little bit of a change, even though I love the song. It's a banger song and it gets me hyped every time I listen to it. So I'm kind of divided in my own thoughts and feelings on that aspect of it. Rings of Power, I've watched the first episode. I haven't got into the second episode yet. It took me 2 tries to get through the first episode of Rings of Power. Now, in full transparency, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I like the films. I didn't love the Hobbit movies as much, obviously, but I like the main canon for it and the extended cuts. But I don't know the true myth, or what do you say, the mythology, or like the like what you would need to know in order to be a super fan, like a Mark Pearson or even a Zach, right? Who knows, or Dean even, that knows that there are elements that aren't, that aren't canon, that it changes things. I wouldn't have known that. To me, it still feels like a Lord of the Rings show. So in that sense, I think that it was done really well. The Lord of the Rings show, I would recommend watch it if you can on the biggest screen possible, because some of the visuals are like breathtaking.
The 4K in both of these shows is fucking stupid crisp. I feel like I'm watching 8K on my 4K TV. It's fucking stupid crisp.
Now, I know that because this is on Prime, and I think it's Jeff Bezos, I think he's also a Lord of the Rings super fan. Hasn't this become one of the most expensive shows like of all time? But I mean, for anybody to pay for it, like good on them. I like that. I'm glad that that's been the case, because I do think that once this show ultimately sticks the landing, I think it will be a huge hit and have, a draw of audience again. I think the first couple episodes, or like, this first episode that I've watched anyways, I found bits of it kind of slow, but again, I think because I don't know a lot of what I feel like I should know in order to truly appreciate some of those details that they're giving us. But I am excited to see kind of what happens from here. And I love that they're using Galadriel. I think I like the casting for her. I think she's a beautiful actress, but I think she also looks the part to what we've seen from the films. So thought that was cool. I would definitely recommend both at this point if you're on the fence.
Yeah, House of Dragon, I am so stoked for. The first 3 episodes have gotten me, I think, like others are saying, so much more back into Game of Thrones after being pretty soured on it after the last seasons. If we have John back on from InArt, I want to tell them skip Dany and give us Princess Rhaenyra. Like, she is such a great character. She's a cutie. I know that, no spoilers, I know that there are time jumps involved throughout the series. And so maybe we may lose this actress, which is kind of a bummer because she is so
it's confirmed
good.
Already. Yeah, they've gone out and outright said it, which really sucks. The new actress looks kind of terrible.
That's such a bummer because she's crushing every scene she's in. I love the cast. I will say, because we were talking about She-Hulk, I love my Marvel shows, my MCU shows, my Star Wars shows, watch them religiously. But watching House of Dragon, I'm like, this is high-level TV. This is like high art, and, it kind of makes the other stuff look silly in comparison, which I hate to say because I'm so invested in those properties. But like this, it's feeling like really, really high-level television. So cannot wait to see where the rest of the series goes. And that's why Zach had me so fucked up when he was like, this last episode was whack. I was like, what are you talking about? So I'm glad that he rectified that.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Dean. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, because you brought up She-Hulk, both of these shows are almost kind of dealing with the same message, right? A woman in a man's world.
Yeah.
And this show handles it so elegantly and kind of, I guess, more like brutal, that it really gets the message across in a very interesting way, and a lot more. You're more rooting for this character, right?
This is in House of the Dragon?
Yeah, House of the Dragon. Yeah. But when you watch She-Hulk, it's like Jen Walters is such a fucking unlikable piece of shit. Like,
it's a travesty.
Wow.
That you're rooting against her, and it's like, bro, like that should not be the case. Like, your main character should be, obviously who the audience is on your side. And it's just an interesting way, like Marco just said, it's like artistically, like this show is so much more highbrow. Like,
I don't think the chat likes our takes on She-Hulk.
It's okay what the chat likes and what the chat
And
doesn't.
I-
Remember, back to opinions.
We'll read some of these comments.
Back to opinions and discussions.
fine.
If you that She-Hulk show, don't even get me started on that. I gave it a chance.
Insulting.
I don't mind the actress, and the She-Hulk. They cleaned up the CGI. It's cool.
No, they didn't.
They cleaned up the CGI from the original trailer.
Oh, okay.
Besides that time when she's walking into the office and it looks like a Grand Theft Auto skit in the last episode, but you know what I'm saying? She walks into the office.
That's a good take. I like that.
But no. I don't care how funny she is in the comics. That end credit scene from the last episode, complete joke.
At least it's an end credit scene, right? You didn't have to sit there and deal
It
with
was just so cringe. And I would say, like, not even just the end credit scenes. They just had so many cringe moments where it's like you said, Game of Thrones is just running circles around anything the MCU has put out. And I personally like She-Hulk. I loved the first episode. just thought that the last two have been weaker. But so back to House of Dragon. Really excited to see how this wraps. High level stuff. Rings of Power I haven't gotten to yet, but I've heard it's actually, from some people who I respect their opinion, better than House of Dragon, which kind of has me, blown away. Like, if it's better than what we're getting, then the fact that we're getting these high fantasy shows competing at like incredible budgets, like these could be movies the way that they're produced. Bro. Yeah, like it's a beautiful time to be a fan of this genre.
Dean, I also
really excited.
I disagree with you though. I don't think that. Oh, I mean, you can think what you want, I guess. I don't think that Jen is unlikable necessarily in She-Hulk. I think she's still one of the better parts of the show. I've just found, like, it's not a world building show necessarily, though. It's supposed to be like a Marvel sitcom. It's supposed to be kind of easy to watch and just kind of funny and light and as I said, easy to watch. Not like you don't have to think about it. I feel like you can't, like. We can't even compare She-Hulk with Game of Thrones. It's unfortunate that they're out at about the same time. I think that's the only reason you can draw comparisons, because otherwise it's like night
the commentary
and day, right?
is kind of the same. Like the issues they're tackling are
the issues for sure in terms of female empowerment. I do think that like She-Hulk for me has just been a little on the boring side. It just doesn't feel like there's a lot going on. I'm not necessarily like looking forward to the next episode.
22-minute episodes, bro. Like. Yeah. And you only get how many? Maybe they're doing 10. Usually it's like 8. It's like,
well,
I have less than an hour's worth of content here.
Well, most other Marvel shows, I've looked forward to the next episode at least. Whereas She-Hulk, I'm kind of like, I'll watch it when I get there. Whereas like Game of Thrones, like every Sunday night, I'm like, I'm stoked. I'm ready for it tonight. You know,
stoked or stoned.
And with She-Hulk, I know some people were saying, I get it, like it's like the comic where she's quirky, speaking to the camera and stuff like that. That's fine, and I think that's done well. And I like Jen. I like her, the actress, and I like the She-Hulk. But just the way the show progresses and the way the Hulk turned out, even the way the other character turned out, I won't mention his name, I'm just not happy with the writing.
In the trailer.
Oh, yeah, he's in the trailer. The Abomination, the way he turned out, just not...
Yeah, it's like they've turned everybody into a pun delivery, bumbling kind of like joke. It's like... What the fuck are we watching?
I'll still watch it
it's
to see, but
bro, I'm waiting for fucking Fridays and Sundays, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, there's been an episode out of She-Hulk for the past like 4 days. Like,
is it Wednesday or Thursday that it comes out?
I think it's Wednesdays, but like I'll be watching Game of Thrones and being like, oh fuck, She-Hulk's out. I gotta watch that now. Yeah. Like it doesn't even register that it's out anymore. Like it's just so bad. Like,
and She-Hulk, if they get Daredevil right, it could redeem itself, but it's got a lot of work to do to.
I'm hoping it does. I want to like it. It's just like right now, it's just so cringy and bad. It's like Jen Walters is like this I don't like pompous assholes, and then like continues to be one for every scene she's in. Like she thinks and talks down to everybody else in the scene. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? Like it's a mess. I don't like it.
So funny.
Cuervo says one twerk and everyone hates the show. DJ agrees. It's not that big of a deal. People are losing their minds.
I hated it way before that.
The jokes in She-Hulk aren't funny. I was slightly amused in the first episode, but 2 and 3 are just not funny.
What's going on, Walton?
It's not good.
Lane says women dwarves need beards.
Okay, people keep bringing that up. Is that like a canonical thing? To me, that was Aragorn like joking, like right, like
DJ
it's the beards. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but do they have beards? I'm like legitimately.
I think Mark would be the better expert, but I believe they do. But she does have a little bit of a thing going on. It's just not like a full Dean beard. You know what I mean?
Bro, that character was so funny because like her husband's so
the duality.
I won't get into it. Yeah, dude, I loved every part of that episode.
I'm clearly like the better half here, Dean. You're like the grouchy, like
what
the
grumpy. Fuck? That's absolutely not true.
Can Cuervo made a comment about the here? I'll highlight it. No. About that, someone said about pompous.
Yeah, but male pompous assholes are made leaders, and female pompous assholes are made out to be awful people.
Can we
it's
just
not
like
fair.
with these Marvel shows, Star Wars? Can we just like, I don't know if this is too much. Maybe just leave real life kind of out of it. That's too much.
John, I would say like Dean's point was Game of Thrones or House of Dragon is doing something really similar to what She-Hulk wants to do, but they are succeeding so much better at it. So it's like you could do it successfully. You can tackle these real world 22 issues, but you got to do them in the right way.
I just think everything's being Disney-fied, and that's why
it's all too funny.
It's just it's too much.
Also, like every female character that we're getting now in Phase 4 is just a female version of the person before, except maybe Captain Marvel. And then, like,
speaking of,
like
Taika's not going to direct Thor 5.
Well, thank goodness.
Thank God.
Now get him off Star Wars.
Every show, it's like Hawkeye, not about Hawkeye, it's about Kate. Loki, not about Loki, it's about
I just don't
whatever her name is, Sylvie.
Female Loki.
Yeah, it's
I really liked both of those, so I can't.
I like those too. I can't complain.
I like those shows too,
Loki.
but it's like
too much Merlin to watch.
Yeah, it's just kind of
like, where's my Kingpin figure? Give me a flip.
You had one. It was that big ass fucking 23-inch
quarter scale.
Oh, that one. No, I want a Kingpin D'Onofrio from the shows. Give me that Kingpin.
Dude, let's talk about these Kingpins here on the screen.
Yeah, dude, the absolute fucking legends and sweet angels. We'll give a quick shout out to the 3 pillars, as John so beautifully coined. Shout out to Sean Fear, Ian Seavey, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, James Colley, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Gist, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Thomas Clark, Sweet Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Corrett, Big Ol' Fern, King Zach, Caesar Mariquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomaski, Rick DeGregorio, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Alan Morgan, Tuka3, Wa, Derek B, Aries Portillo. Am I saying that right? I hope so.
Yeah.
Let us know. Pablo Meza, Carlos Saavedra, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Don Maton, Jimmy James, Stephen Pritchard, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. Beautiful. God, that horn, bro.
You love it. The
Zach,
Jamaicans really got that right.
Do you click that button once and it does the bam, 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 or do you? Oh, okay. Because that's like exactly the way I did it.
I prefer when you do it, Dean, though. I like your little pew pews.
I'm just saying.
I like your pew pews, but
wait till he plays the bye too. That's gonna
I would never insult.
place.
I would never insult Zach's, button pushing skills.
I got this for you, Ben. Anyways, enough about that foolishness. Here's a look at our Patreon stickers. These are actually going out this week due to a bit of a snafu. We're shipping August and September at once. I know some of the patrons have talked about doing that in the future to keep costs down. I don't know if we're there yet, but it is an option that we are thinking about. But this month, one of our stickers was super late, and it just made sense to combine those packages. So we'll be shipping 4 designs this week. Hey, we're doing a show here. Jesus Christ, dogs are having a fight here. If you want to join our Patreon, it starts at $5 a month. $5 a month gets you access to stickers sent straight to your door and access to Ox After Dark replay. The $15 tier is the certified crispy certificate and figure fix assistance. The $25 tier is doubles of all the stickers we send and the exclusive Pog Deluxe set on your first pledge. And that will be the OG set. I think we're down to the last 7 or 8, so we'll probably be working on a new Pog set soon, so stay tuned for that. We have some great people that support us on YouTube through the channel membership option. We have Mojo Z78, Absolute Irwin, Test Just 1, DK Avenger 702, OMFG Rick, S Beam, Andres IB, Daminator, Sam Gist, Thomas Clark, Benjamin Hansen, Chris V, Big Ol' Fern, OG Fan, Bam M, Mark Pearson, Ben Thomas, Paul Schreiber, Andrew Gibo, CC3PO, Lemur Hernandez, Carlito, CT603, Eddie Money Mendez, Luke Fredericks, and Sia Dreams. Membership starts at 99 cents if you're a Patreon, or $2.99 for the Peanut Gallery if you are not. You get special emojis, loyalty badges, and member shoutouts. Looking at the network here, we have, I believe, OFAC, this Thursday, After Dark tomorrow at 10:30. We also have the amazing Collectors Club, the place to be on a Friday night, Friday, and we're putting it out to the community. Pose Wars is this Saturday at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, and if we want Pose Wars to really be a thing again, we got to fill up these posing slots. Right now we have 4 of 6 posing slots filled, so if you're someone that collects 1/12 scale or NECA, Mafex, Figuarts, Black Series, Legends, and you want to get in on the posing, let me know. We need a few more posers and a few backups. And like I said, we're putting it to the community. If it doesn't happen, then, maybe Pose Wars is just not the right time for Pose Wars.
I'm trying to think of what figure I should start with.
Yep, you got to pick 2, my friend.
You better figure it out.
I'm thinking,
Whoa.
wow.
That was good.
I'm like 90% sure I'm going to go with the Goku.
Wow. You'll love to see it. But, we're bringing Pose Wars back. The people of the world asked for it, and who are we to deny them? But you can find us on TeePublic. Drop the link there for you. Shirts start at $13 when they're on sale, $20 when they're not. We got a bunch of great designs there, and I think we should be adding a club one here very soon. John, can we read the socials here from you, please?
Yes, sir. On Facebook, we got Collecting Weekly, and the most important one on Facebook, Collecting Weekly Auxiliary, the group where all the fun happens. Instagram, we got at Collecting Weekly _clips, and at the Everyday Collector. Guys, follow these groups because, we got updates, community focus, and it's where we all chill and hang out. So if you want to hang out with us, follow these groups. Right? Just damn follow them. Fuck, I don't have to explain.
There you go. Nicolio says, everyone needs a Zorbo shirt. Nicolio, I got that magnet for you, baby. You let me know if you want me to send it to you, and I will send it to you.
Zorbo.
To the legend.
I need to draw Zorbo.
Shout out time. Does anyone have any shout outs they want to give?
I do have one. Shout out to Zach's beard. Rest in peace. Gone too soon.
I wanted to clean up. That was my COVID beard, and I was like, you know what? The world is getting back to normal. I'm gonna shave. I didn't know I'd be roasted this whole 2 hours for it, so never shaving again.
Sometimes you got to start fresh. No, I get that.
Oh, you started fresh, all right.
Shave my balls and everything.
Wow.
Anyways,
shout out to everyone in the chat.
Yeah, shout out to the chat and everyone to watch.
I was just gonna say because we can have a pretty what's the word? Our discussions can be not heated, but like talk about topics that are maybe a little sensitive, and we have a good discussion, and people aren't calling each other bigots and sexist, and they're just kind of like, I don't see your point of view, or like, oh, I didn't think about it.
Didn't you call me a liberal today?
The second they do that, we just ban them, right?
Yeah. No, we don't ban people here unless they're being asses.
I can find you one here. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Mark Pearson says, can't wait to see this panel in October for OxCon. S-Beam, I think you may be in Pose Wars already for Saturday, but just in case you're not, and if you would like to join, I believe you are. But you let me know, bro. We'd love to have a Pose Wars veteran come back. Let me double check. Oh, he is. Yeah.
He knows we're not doing Hot Toys, right?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Big old friend says, Leak Zach, don't look like me no more.
Quick shout out to Nicolio, the Great and Powerful. He's had some wicked Instagram pictures lately. So if you don't follow Nicolio, check his Instagram out because I've thought some of his poses have been wicked, and he's a very cool person. And I wanted to say also, yesterday I shouted out Marco for 1/6 Fix because he was only 3 subs away from 400, and then he lost a subscriber. So I felt
he's now 5 subs away from
400. So 50.
So if there's 5 of you kind angels out there, go to 1/6 Fix and check out Marco's content. If you haven't already, let's be honest, he needs at least 400. Go get it. Anybody listening, you're the best.
My man Ben, appreciate you, bro, and looking forward to losing another 10 subs. So really appreciate you doing that.
If you lose more subs, I'm never going to say anything again. I'm just putting it out there.
No, all good, brother. Appreciate it.
S-Beam, it is 1/12 scale. Yeah, we thought we'd mix it up a bit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people asked for it in Pose Wars Phase 1. So if you guys want to hear this delicious intro, hopefully I still have the intro now. I'm just looking at it. Maybe I don't. Ooh, maybe I don't. Oh, just kidding. It's in here. Look at this. If you guys want to hear this beautiful then you fucking find someone to pose with us, and we'll
You
make
can't
it
tease
happen.
us. You got to run that whole
was
thing.
that?
Come on.
Here we go. Just kidding.
Jesus.
All right. Anyways, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm John.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
Sign up for Pose Wars, baby, if you want to hear this banger of a track.
Roger, Roger.
War, a community in turmoil. Contestants come together to fight for your votes. Many will enter, but only one will stand victorious. Welcome to the Pose Wars.